Hello, and welcome to our channel Space Journey. Today, we are going to unveil all the information you need to know about new Inspiration4 mission, a mission that overlaps with the 55th anniversary of Gemini 11 in September of 1966, which has an apogee of approximately 1,368 kilometers, or 850 miles, the highest Earth orbit ever reached on a crewed flight. The Inspiration4 flight is at an orbital altitude of approximately 585 kilometers, or 364 miles, the highest achieved since 1999, and the fifth highest Earth orbital human spaceflight overall. So, if you are interested in how it all went or want to find out what the future of space tourism will be, stay with us until the end of the video. At the beginning, please support us with subscribing to our channel and liking this video so we can continue researching for you. While the expedition hinted to what space travel could look like in the future, it is now only available to the wealthiest of the wealthy. A medical assistant, a community college professor, a data engineer, and the billionaire who funded their mission returned to Earth after 3 days in orbit, ushering in a new age of space travel with a spectacular and successful Saturday evening landing in the Atlantic Ocean. At 7:06 p.m. on Saturday, the mission, dubbed Inspiration4, splashed down off the coast of Florida. The return went off without a hitch, and each step was completed on time. As the capsule bobbed in the ocean, Chris Young, SpaceX's Space Operations Director, remarked to the crew, "Welcome home to planet Earth." Elon Musk's rocket firm, SpaceX, constructed both the Falcon 9 rocket that launched the Inspiration4 mission and the Crew Dragon capsule in which the astronauts spent the previous 3 days. "Your mission has shown the world that space is for all of us, and that everyday people can make extraordinary impacts in the world around them," Mr. Young said. "It was a heck of a ride for us," Jared Isaacman, the 38-year-old billionaire who spearheaded the Inspiration4, replied. "We're just getting started." Resilience, the capsule, had used its engines for 15 minutes to descend out of orbit around an hour before. As it struck the water, the parachutes released, slowing Resilience to around 15 miles per hour. Within an hour, all 4 crew members emerged from the spacecraft, one by one, smiling with joy as rescue teams aided them. It was the latest triumph in a year filled with significant achievements in spaceflight. 2 celebrity billionaires, Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, and Richard Branson, the CEO of Virgin Group, went to the edge of space in vehicles built and operated by companies they founded a few months ago, possibly heralding the start of a wave of wealthy space tourists taking brief up and down trips off the planet. Mr. Isaacman, who isn't as well known as Mr. Bezos or Mr. Branson, has now traveled far further to an altitude of 366 miles, higher than the International Space Station and the Hubble Space Telescope, and an orbital speed of almost 17,000 miles an hour. His private journey, which was the first to reach orbit without a professional astronaut, was also intended to show what a more accessible future in space may look like. His 3 crewmates began as strangers, selected to represent humanity's best qualities: optimism, wealth, and generosity. Mr. Isaacman, a high school dropout who founded Shift4 Payments, a company that processes payments for restaurants and other businesses; Haley Arsenault, 29, a physician assistant at St. Jude Children's Research Center in Memphis; and Sian Proctor, 51, a community college professor in Phoenix who became the first Black woman to sit on the International Space Station. The 4 Inspiration4 crew members, 3 Chinese astronauts on the country's fledgling space station, and an international crew of 7 astronauts on board the International Space Station, were all in orbit at the same time for a brief time. The Chinese astronauts returned to Earth on Friday. With the return of Inspiration4, the human population of the space station has shrunk to just 7 individuals. Mr. Musk's latest achievement was the Inspiration4 mission. NASA astronauts travel to and from the International Space Station in the Crew Dragon spacecraft. There may now be a new market for private spaceflight. During a telephone press conference after the splashdown, Benji Reed, SpaceX's senior director of human spaceflight, said of Crew Dragon flights, "There's plenty of interest, and it's a lot bigger now. Orbital spaceflight is far too expensive for anybody except the wealthiest of the wealthy." But Mr. Isaacman said he intended to encourage a future generation to dream greater by giving those who represent the wider society a shot. Before flying aboard SpaceX rockets, The crew members went through months of intensive training, comparable to what NASA astronauts go through before launching. Time magazine featured the 4 astronauts on the cover. A documentary series on their training was created by Netflix, and a final episode about their trip will premiere at the end of the month. On Wednesday evening, liftoff went on time and without a hitch. The spacecraft was in orbit 366 miles above the Earth after a handful of rocket shots, the highest humans have gone since a mission to repair the Hubble Space Telescope. The operation then remained silent for a day, with only a few bare-bones updates issued on Twitter, at least for the general public. The crew had no duty to make public appearances because it was a private mission, not one run by NASA. Their Twitter and Instagram accounts, which have been active in recent weeks as they prepped for launch, were deactivated while in orbit. The group held a video conference with St. Jude patients. One of the kids inquired if there were any cows on the moon. Dr. Proctor answered, "I hope there will be one day." When the plane touched down, Inspiration4 has generated more than $160 million for the hospital, including $100 million from Mr. Isaacman. The facility serves children at no cost to their families and tries to find treatments for cancer and other ailments. Mr. Musk of SpaceX said on Twitter late Saturday that he would contribute $50 million, pushing the fundraising campaign over its $200 million goal. The team members also spoke with Tom Cruise, the actor. Mr. Isaacman made the first bets from space, according to an internet betting app. The crew members struck a closing bell for the New York Stock Exchange that they had taken into orbit on Friday afternoon, and then delivered a 10-minute live report on YouTube as they sped around the Earth. "We're seeing the world every 90 minutes. That's how fast we're traveling around it. It's pretty incredible," Mr. Isaacman said during the broadcast from orbit. The Inspiration4 mission director, Todd Erickson, said the crew suffered some nausea as they adjusted to space, but it was very much comparable to what real astronauts go through. Mr. Erickson added, "That indicates that regular men and women are no more or less prone to space adaptation syndrome than NASA astronauts, which he believes will be part of the mission's great science." The astronauts gave a short tour of the spacecraft, which included the cupola, a glass dome at the top of the capsule that provided a 360-degree view of the universe. Dr. Proctor displayed a sketch that she had created. Mr. Sembrowski was a ukulele player. Miss Arsenault performed a few flips. Next month, Russia will fly an actress and a film director to the International Space Station, continuing the commercialization of space. They'll be filming sequences for the film The Challenge. It would be the world's first full-length fictional film shot in space. It's also possible that this isn't the final film. In May 2020, NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine revealed that the space agency has discussed making a film aboard the space station with Mr. Cruise. Since then, there's been no word on how the film is progressing or when Mr. Cruise will take to the skies. The Discovery Channel will air a reality show called Who Wants to Be an Astronaut, in addition to other entertainment projects in the world. On a SpaceX rocket, the winner will travel to the International Space Station. Inspiration4's Crew Dragon capsule will be repaired after this trip and utilized for another private mission scheduled to launch early next year. The project, which is being run by the Houston-based business Axiom Space, will transport 1 professional astronaut and 3 consumers to the space station for $55 million fee apiece. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. Don't forget to support us by subscribing and liking this video. And also, tell us what you think of Mission Inspiration4. If you could, would you participate in it? We are really curious to know. We will do our best to make more videos for you with fascinating and interesting happenings in our universe. But for now, that's it. See you all next time.